Hi, my name is Dennis. This is Sailotech. Welcome to each and every one of you in this webinar. Topic for today's webinar is Embark Digital Transformation with Infor Xi platform. The host for this webinar will be Mr. Kartik, a passion-driven head enterprises and carries a lot of experience in digitalization for various disciplines. Uh, I would like to throw a few things who we are and what we are. The name of the organization is Sailotech Private Limited, and we are based from US. We are located in India and Japan, having an employment strength of 200 plus. We are offering this 5 expertise in our organization. One is ERP. Basically, we are implementation, transformation, optimization, and Emacs. Advanced analytics, where we are offering warranty, manufacturing, insurance, data cleansing, modeling, processing, and visualization. Information engineering, we are offering consulting, business modeling, digitalization, and SMAC. Technology consulting, we are also providing incubation services, R&D, software development, POC, startup services, and infrastructure services, where we are providing enterprises system and network management database service. If you have any Q&As, we will have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. You are free to ask your doubts in the chat box, and we will be solving out all your doubts. From here, I would like Mr. Karthik to take on the those.
Yeah. Good morning and good evening to folks there in India. I hope I'm audible. Thanks, Dennis. So yeah, the topic as we discussed, like it's all about digital transformation, and the thing is, what we understand is like just before I go through the agenda, I just want to clear a few things. Like third wave of digital evolution is happening, wherein initially the system of records, which we call ERP, were the primary focus of enterprises. Then later there was a movement wherein the engagement model came into picture with content, with e-commerce, mobile and marketing. Now the third wave is on, wherein we are talking about intelligence. All this while the two waves, I'll say like most of the enterprises as on date, they are working on the second wave, but the third wave, which is more into cloud, IoT, artificial intelligence, you have the virtual reality, etc. Chatbots, messaging apps, I'll say like they are revolutionizing the enterprises, the way they are, the automation that's coming into picture. Uh, just by incorporating AI and integrations with the system of record, the ERP, a consumer can now interface, say, with a chatbot, for example, change the shipment address or get the ASN list easily and instantly without having to wait on hold to speak to a responsible human being. Isn't that awesome? Uh, for me, like in the last two projects, which we closed successfully, we figured that the awareness with respect to the digitalization was different from the organization to the IT, and that was kind of a time consuming for me because me being a consultant, I was the time that we were investing were more into the organizational restructure, less on the technology front. So the agenda, like where I'll start with, is the challenges and the benefits of this digital transformations. Then we'll understand like how exactly a digital transformation ideally should happen, the modeling, the strategy, the primary features. These primary features is basically across the platform that we should invest upon as a company, as an organization. And the third important point, then I'll take you to the Infor Xi, how exactly the Xi, why I'm so enthusiastic about the Xi platform, the features that it's offering. So speaking about the challenges, I'll say digital transformation. It's a big term. Like from an organization standpoint, it's not just the technology that undergoes a transformation, but it's the organization as an ecosystem, wherein the increased market share, the customer engagement, the high employee morale, and the increased customer revenue. All these, all these are the outcomes of this transformation. And as right as on date, competition is the most important factor which is driving the organizations towards the digital transformation. Before competition, I'll say like there has to be a checkpoint wherein the challenges that any organization, a company undergoes with respect to before they take up the digital transformation journey. The first challenge which I noticed, this is again based on the survey that was conducted, is the employee pushback. Having said that, like I'll say, a transformation can happen only when there is a higher management keenness to go digital and being supported by the IT. So that actually addresses the employee pushback simultaneously. I'll say, like by nature, humans like they prefer in the routines actually. It's important to note, however, that sometimes change is a requirement to keep up with the times because not changing is far more riskier. In a way to handle the employees, I'll say like you need to ensure that your employees are fully well informed and they are involved in the whole process. You have to empower them simultaneously, like ensure that helping your employees understand what is at stake. The second important part is because this is something, a new revolution coming into picture, the digital transformation, the budget constraints should not be there. So as such, you have to ensure like you have a long roadmap which has several phases, which is across several years. So like you have to start small, understand what exactly is the need of the hour. It's a continuous improvement and innovation. The third point which I talk about is a lack of overall digitalization strategy. If you're wondering where to begin, I'll say the best answer would be all start by thinking of the stakeholders and keep your business alive, means your customers. Your company was like created to satisfy an unmet need. That's why the company's existence, right? Let that guide you into who you are, what you do, why you do it, into the digital transformation as well. The fourth important part comes in once you have the strategy is the lack of expertise to lead the digitalization initiatives. I'll say like this is a wonderful topic because people like us fetch our bread and butter here actually. The digital transformation brings along a lot of technical challenges. You need to have right people on board. So to start with, you need to have a workforce which is digitally literate. Second thing, you have to build the skill set needed for innovation. Investments have to be on the people to start with. You may stay ahead of the game. It is possible that you may not have the expertise internally at this moment to take on the digital transformation. This may provide, as I said, like an opportunity to look outside and find business partners or the new hires that can help you in this journey. Like once you have the team in place, you need to get accustomed to a platform which should anchor your organization in a way that the digitalization, as I say, like it's all about data. Like the data is floating across, and the thing is how to engage all multiple components, multiple applications, multiple the social media, how to leverage the data and bring it in a single onto a single platform so that they are able to talk to each other. It's important to understand the role of a good digital platform that would partner you in your long roadmap. For me, like I should have talked about this. Like this is just a beginning of a series of webinars where we'll be touch basing the business transformation as well as the technical part of it. Technical part is the platform, including XI. And when it comes to the business transformation, we will touch basing the supply chain, finance, back office, IT support, field service, sales, distribution, manufacturing. I hope I covered most of the fields actually. That was challenge part. Now, when it comes to the benefits, the long-term benefits that you will be seeking out of digital transformation is the workplace. because the way the interaction is happening right now, the involvement of the human involvement, all that will change. The workplace will be a modern workplace. Business applications are interacting with each other. You have your own infrastructure. It could be cloud, because the data that is being generated, you're building analytics on it. You need to have a proper infrastructure in place. Now, the fourth part, the AI part, machine learning. Since the data is there, there is a scope of actually mining it and building some analytics on it. The outcome of it is your employees are more intelligent, your customers are more engaged. Operations, because instead of you being reactive, you can be more proactive and you can be more predictive. Optimization of operations are happening. That in turn transforms into the products that is coming out of your organization. It could be a finished product, it could be a service. So in a way, I could say like a digital transformation refers to the use of technology. Yes, it's a technology to improve the business results. It could include any function within a manufacturing operation, back office, supply chain, factory automation, social media, sensors, etc. So as I started before I started, I spoke about the three waves. The first wave being the system of records, second wave being the engagement model, and the third wave being the cloud, IoT, and etc. So I'll say most of the organizations are aware of where exactly they are. I'll say if they have an app or a service, which could be a ERP or it could be a application or the service application, it's competent to address the following things. It has its own workflows. It collaborates to a level, to an extent, with the social platforms. Document management is there. You have your own set of analytics. Maybe you're doing outside or maybe within the system. Mobility, yes, you must be getting some notifications. Yes, there is an integration. APIs means like it is enabled to interact with the outside world. It has the API capability. Then the next thing most organizations do have is a single sign-on, because they have multiple applications. They want to structure it. They have to make sure like the security part, the compliance part, the governance part, that's being addressed to the single sign-on. Having said that, like the two projects which we completed as a Sailotech, if I speak about the case study, the kind of thing that we got involved is the challenges the business had was they wanted to create a sales process visibility across the dealer and the distributor network, which actually adds a lot of value to the business. Second thing is forecasting of the sales for the production cycle synchronization. Now you're getting it, like sales comes somewhere different in the value chain, and the production cycle synchronization means there is a loop that is happening, which is adding value to the production directly from sales. Then the building of the loyalty, tracking, managing and tracking the warranties on the procure material, improving the customer satisfaction with automated raising of the tickets for performance issues. So these things actually were the initial the scope that was given to us. Then we went ahead. We did some understanding of the business, the challenges. Based on our understanding, we came up with we segregated the systems, the applications in a manner that the challenge was the customer wanted to go digital. If at all he goes digital, I'll say like all these things, the sales process, the forecast, the dealer, distributor, all these fall in place, because ERP, which is a system of records, which is actually a decision support system. So in a way, if I decode what is digital transformation, I'll say like it's a total paradigm shift from a decision supporting system to a decision making system, wherein instead of human involvement waiting for some notification, you code the system in a way, you enable the system in a way that it becomes intelligent. You embed the intelligence into the system that it takes its own decisions, so that it doesn't need to wait for somebody's intervention. So two applications, when they are interacting, when we know how exactly they would interact, so you can set a proper bandwidth between them in a way that they are digitally close to each other. That's where I'll say a decision making system. And this is all about, I'll say, is a rise of a new level of a sophistication, uh, which is happening across the globe. And from an organization standpoint, if I talk about, I'll say like the CIO, which is a new term which is coming in, because all the while it was IT leaders. I'll say like CEOs are the guys who actually would be driving this whole system, because they are the guys who will be bridging between the business and the IT, and the CIOs are the guys who will actually I'll say like this is where the transition begins. Success in a digital business happens requires a lot of coordination and a lot of effort across the enterprise. It nearly is impossible to accomplish that with disconnected technologies and applications. So with a fully connected technology platform that handles the integration, the analysis, the collaboration, you can apply the enterprise-wide focus to the challenge within your industry. So as I said, CIO, he plays a vital role. CIO role is more of a transitioning actually from a delivery executive to a business executive, from controlling costs and engineering processes to driving revenue and exploiting the data. Data, has its own strength. The primary focus has to be on the innovation. So the CIO and the IT department are the real agents, if we can term them, for the change and the innovation. They create new and more efficient processes and provide solutions to all the operations which were happening in a stagnant manner. And the options could be like, it can be hiring or partnering with the IT team, means you have people whose primary focus is on innovation. I hope I'm audible. The second step is like, once you have the CEO, like a person who is experienced in handling this transformation, I'll say like the next challenge would be to integrate the IT. Integrate the IT in your. Thanks. Somebody responded. Yeah. Thank you. The audio is clear. Yeah. So integrating the IT. IT has always been looked off as some back room and hidden out of sight. They have been the backbone of this decision supporting system. Now the thing is, because of this transformation, the important part is that as I said, the CEO plays the role of a business executive. The first task would be to physically integrate the IT with the rest of the company. That was one of the base challenges which I faced in my earlier project, wherein the IT was totally working in silos. They were coming up with their own projections, their own predictions, but the business was not accepting. So as such, the IT and business have to work hand in hand. So that so for that, I'll say the first thing is, maybe you can merge the workplaces in a way to a more central location. I read somewhere the article about the Walmart, wherein they did this thing, wherein they merged the corporate IT with its technology group responsible for e-commerce development. And Walmart is doing good now. So as such, you have to put the IT in a position to contribute more directly to the business growth. The third thing is you have to motivate this IT, because the IT, since they've been working on the stagnated features, the back office, maybe on the ERP support, they're getting some business requirement, they deliver it, they are more into the same life cycle thing. You need to pull the IT, and you need to give them strategies, and the objectives, rather than giving them assignments. So with the strategies and objectives, what happens is the challenge of data, which is floating around, will be addressed. So in a way, I'll say that you have to look at the IT staff as your innovation team. You have to empower them to transform your company for the better. Proper utilization is needed. I can say increasing the internal efficiency actually will help you lower the cost and help you keep you competitive, because at the end of the day, if your competitor is going digital, he will get the he'll have more insights than you actually. So excuse me. So you need to, like so as I said, where to start, how to start, we'll look into this. So having said that, the next important challenge right as on date is the smart tools, which are the four technologies that are currently driving your business innovation. And this is where the flavor of IT will come, and the data mining and the data cleansing and the visualization, so that they can look at beyond future actually. Because if at all your ERP system is forecasting, you need to look at the multiple insights, wherein there could be multiple verticals that you need to link, so that you can produce some analytics, some graphs, wherein a decision done taken in supply chain might be affecting the HR over there, the supply the field force over there. So the social, mobile, analytics, and cloud are the four technologies that are currently driving the business innovation. Now the integration, the last part, the integration of the technologies require clear policies, guidelines, as well as management tools that can automate business processes, because this is where you're bridging between the technology and the business. So that's equally important. So let's start with the model actually. How exactly, like now the thing is, like, this whole webinar, my target, my thing, what I identified is challenge that a CIO goes through, and how exactly he can address it, how exactly he can build a strategy, so that he himself transforms from a delivery executive to a business executive. So I'll be more from here onwards. I'll be more from the technology standpoint, because here the organization, it's a total different talk that we already discussed. Now, when I'm going how to evaluate a good digital platform, to start with, it consists of three important steps. You need to, since I'm talking about social, the smart tools, wherein your interaction is more with the outside community, with your suppliers, with your customers, with your potential customers, with your sales insights and all. So this is an ecosystem. So organizations have to create and integrate with a platform to share the critical assets. So some companies, like the big ones, like the GE and the Walmart and the guys, they have built their own platform business model. They have developed it that encompasses of providers, consumers, employees to create or exchange goods. Others who have the competency, who understand it but don't want to invest in technology, can always integrate with other organizations' digital platform like the Excise. In a way, your digital strategy must be to integrate business and IT needs and establish a collective leadership vision. Companies must decide what makes sense for their organization and the long-term business goals. So in a way, to start with, you need to have a digital strategy. So always a strategy starts from like, what is the target and what is your goal. So as such, explore, understand what's happening, where do you want to take the organization to, and set your primary goal and decide the ecosystem that we talked about, the business ecosystem, because digitalization is enabling the business ecosystem. So as such, define that part. And once you define that thing, your primary goal, so that has to be your corporate strategy, keeping in view your future roadmap. The second part is about the planning and connecting. So when it comes to planning, you have to integrate your business and technology. Then you have to set the actionable items and the impacts. So there is a lot of thought process that gets into. Then say simultaneously with the impact, you have to review your implications, the constraints, the interdependencies, and the risk. And equally, you have to invest time on understanding, for me, should I go for a bigger platform which is well known, or should I invest and build a small known platform on my own, so that like my requirement is sufficed. Let's not go with the brands, right? And the third important thing is, once you have the understanding of how to plan and connect, you have to deliver and support that particular model, the strategy. The model is in place when you plan and connect. So when you deliver and support, that's where you need to be more inspect. You have to keep inspecting the business, the technology, the opportunities, the risk. You have to attend your integration requirements. You have to ensure the security, compliance, and reputation, because any fall will actually show up in your in the reputation of the company. So you need to ensure whatever the integration, whatever the data interchange is happening, it's and uh, highly secure, and it's as per the compliance requirement of your of of your of your organization. And as such, and it's always the reputation is at least. Same time, when we are talking of so many such a big high level view of an ecosystem and the business strategy, and we're talking about the corporate strategy, I'll say like you need to have a dedicated team. The last the first project that we got into, the customer was not aware. Just because of the competition, he wanted to have a digital platform. For him, digitalization was mobile, and he wanted analytics which he was aware of. I'll say like he was trying to move from Excel to a report, which is not digitalization. This is all done and dusted. I'll say right now the thing is, when you say analytics, you need to see like how exactly the interaction with the departments, how exactly the interaction between your customer network, your competitor network, the ecosystem in which you are there, the vertical you are playing in. So you need to work on those analytics. You need to have a dedicated and focused team, and ensure like all whatever you are doing with respect to the requirements, with respect to the technology, with respect to the strategy, you have to define your outcomes, because against which only you can actually judge where exactly you are leading to. Means when you are having a roadmap of couple of years, saying 2 to 3 years, you need to define your short term outcomes as well as the long term outcomes. Third is evolve and get smarter. As in when you're going through a lot of the compliance, the government, uh, the investments that is happening with your customers, the client, your competitors, the new verticals, new opportunities. You have to evolve. This doesn't stop here. Even if you have a roadmap, you need to keep evolving and always get smarter. You have to address the complexities, because you're with a digital platform, you have the ERP, you have the Salesforce, say for example, you have a field force, you have HR application. All these are interconnected and they are interacting with each other. So you need to ensure the the information that is coming in and going out, it's actually very clean, and very the analytics that are coming in. If it's like say we did a project on analytics, which we did for advanced analytics for our client, for automobile client, wherein we help them identify the fraud analytics. We identify the frauds in their warranty claims. That's what we claim our expertise. So when we talk about fraud, ERP will help you take care of the claims. But when it comes to identifying fraud in the claims, it's all analytics. You have to work on the data. You need to build use cases. We delivered close to 27 use cases based on which the customer built a model, and then there was an outcome. So after the outcome, we had to put that back, plug in, and identify the root causes, where exactly the issue was. Say there was a part failure that was happening frequently. The root cause was identified in the raw material that was going into the supply chain, into the production. So that raw material was coming from a supplier. So in a way, all the entities, the ecosystem is connected now. So when the data is there, you need to be smart, you need to handle the complexities, and you need to have a foresightedness. Now this, as I said, like this includes the ecosystem, which will be supported, which has to be supported internally and externally. So the role of a digital platform, the consumer, the platform owner, plays a very crucial role. The CIOs, which again, because this is all IT, the data part, CIO must focus on the technology growth, but also on evolving business architecture to support the governance, trust, strategy, reputation, economics, and security. So now we are now talking about, as I said, like this is all technical. So this is my view, wherein I understand a platform should have these features. So it has to be a digital platform because it's going to be integrating two applications. It's going to serve your purpose. So now we are talking. It has to be unique to help the customer enable the business for digital economy. It has to have an innovation lab so that the evolution and getting smarter thing is happening, so with enriched experience in delivering platforms. And it has to be, it's not be a small some integration, some API doggle which actually connects to application. It has to be something which works in in close proximity with the enterprise softwares. So for me, when I understand, it needs to deliver three key, it needs to have three key features. One is the integration layer has to be there. Second is the development layer. And the third is it has to be a platform as a service. So these three things, when it's there, so when I talk about the first one, the integration, uh, so it needs to, if at all the requirement is just to integrate two applications, so it should be able to integrate, means like it should be secure, it should be robust, it should be scalable. Tomorrow, if for some reason like you need to actually connect more devices, so as such it should be able to take the load. So in a way, I'll say like that integration platform happens to be the need of the hour right now. Second one, which I talk about, is the development layer. Now the development has to be there. The dev layer, which actually we consider it as like for me the data coming out. I'll say like which we did was more consumed into the mobilities, into the mobile APIs. It was able to connect to the mobile and all. Same time, it needs all the APIs have to be smart APIs, and it should not take a lot of time for a technical guy, for a CIO to make a big team actually to code hundreds and thousands of lines for the connection. It has to be visual. It has to be like the mapping has to be seamless. Say I just drag and drop. So when I'm doing that, so I don't need a technical high level expert. It just need a knowledge, so that like even if tomorrow the technical guy who did the technical part, like if he's not available for any reason, the CIO himself should be competent to ensure that, to understand, to look the mapping part and just understand like where exactly things might go wrong. So as such, the API has to be, API should be very very visible. So there has to be what we call is an emboss layer. And the third and the topmost is, if at all you are building some applications, you never know, like, okay, fine, if you have a technical expertise or you want to build something, I'll just give a good use case, post this, like this slide is done. So wherein you should be able to build applications on this platform, because now you have the integration layer, which is actually interacting between the two applications. Now the data is moving, flowing through this integration layer to the other application. So as such, if I can build an application on top of this integration layer and leverage that data, I'll select I'll be the happiest person, because it's working as a platform for me, and it's platform. I know the platform, I know the data, I know the technology. So that's how I understand that the primary features of a digital platform have to be. So as I said, these are all like whatever we discuss. It has to be like they are categorized into the microservices. So if I talk about this, there has to be a database service. There has to be Embark, which is a mobile and API service. There has to be a platform service. So in a way, it should work as a platform as a service. There has like a total the architecture, what we call it as a PaaS layer. So when it's delivering these values, I'll say this is the right platform. After which you should look at the flavors that you're looking at. These are the basic requirement a platform should have. Authorization service, which will take care of the security, a database service, connectivity with the database, Embark and the API service, and the iPaaS service. So just look at this thing, like when I have microservices, the framework has to look like this. So first thing, so if I look at the microservices, I should be able to, if I talk about the SMAC, the social, mobile, those things. So if I talk about that, I'll say it needs to take consider, help me track the user behavior, APIs. There has to be, it should address the backup and the disaster recovery part. It should be persistence. It should be capable of pushing notifications, the loggings, so that the audit part is taken care. It should work offline and sync, so that I can use it on a mobile app rather than me going for a responsive app and which is online only. It should work offline and sync. Security, I'll say, like, it could go like based on your requirement, but minimal requirement, there has to be two-factor authentication and the API management. If for me a digital platform is catering and delivering these values, I say like this is the integrating platform that I'm looking for. Same time, it should be capable of integrating to the backend. I love it if it's available both on-premise and cloud. Cloud, I'll say I'll prefer cloud because the data that is getting generated is huge. And then you have that AWS and Azure services, wherein what happens is like based on the bandwidth and based on the data you can mine and you can work on the analytics part on it faster actually. Same time, when it comes to the mobile set, it should work with the native app. If you have a native app that you have built exclusively for your application, it should work on the hybrid integration as well. So on top of it, the whole thing, all these features have to be there simultaneously. It should be secure and highly scalable, so that I don't need to reinvest on something which is meeting my demand, my requirement today, and tomorrow I end up like saying, oh man, this is not happening. So as such, it should be scalable. Simultaneously, it should be cost effective. And if you remember, like in the last slide I showed, like it should, like the product, the platform in which you invest, it should have a good innovation team working backside, so that it is at par and it is like it has a futuristic outlook, so that if tomorrow, say for example, like we had a recent virus outbreak wherein we had the challenge, but so that kind of fixes, that kind of things are coming in, then tomorrow, like if suppose one of my customer, while I was there in Zurich, he came up and he had a requirement wherein he wanted to build he was asking if you can build a blockchain for him. I said like, yeah, I have a good platform. Anything on a platform, I can build the app on it. So it will work because all the need is the data that is coming in. I know it. The platform, I'm aware of it. Any application I build on it, it will work seamlessly. So that's the framework. So a very good example that I'll cite here, which we recently delivered. This is for the GST requirement, wherein the requirement, as you are aware, like for India, the GST became a big time revolution in the tax filing, wherein all the enterprises had to go through it, though it got delayed. And what I heard is like it's taking some toll, but at the same time, so what we said is GST for an enterprise, it should not be a headache. When there is a digital revolution, it should never be a headache. So if I can make an application sitting on this digital platform which interacts with the APIs that are coming out from an ERP, it will speak to it, it will pull the data, and it will structure it, massage it, format it, and publish it to the GSTN. Everything happening secure. So in a way, what better can one look for? I am on this layer. We built a small app wherein it will schedule the extraction as well. So it goes, talks to the API, say like in Infor, it talks to the API as per the schedule. Say I want to pull the GST, say the GSTR1 or GSTR2. Because my data is huge, I want to do it on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So on this layer, I'll schedule it in a way that the scheduler extracts the data from the infer, pulls the data, takes it, puts it, massages it, puts it into my application exact tags, wherein I'm able to visualize the data. From here, the accountant can always work. So as such, the IT team, the back office team is actually not ending up working late hours for the filing. So everything is automated. So this is where a very good use case where the iPaaS layer actually helped me building that particular app. Now that we understand what exactly a digital platform should look at, now I'm coming over to the Infor Xi. Infor as like the day Infor Xi was launched, there was a lot of questions and a lot of simultaneously there was enthusiasm. Same time there was a lot of confusion as well. What exactly is XI? Because because 2014 when it was launched, the way it was put in place, we thought like we thought like there were multiple applications, they need to interact. Maybe the way micro vertical strategy is there, so they want the multiple applications to interact. So maybe that's the reason XI came into picture. But having said that, right now whatever features we talked about, how exactly a digital platform should be there, I'll say that's what XI is delivering. It's connecting the dots, it's connecting the applications, connecting people, connecting machines, and the data as well. This is how the XI evolved. So I'll say like in 2011, before it came in, it started with an ion network, which is actually for the integration, the APIs and all. There was a workspace and the federations, and then the federation server, and slowly they started moving into the federation services is more about like user access and security. Then slowly they started adding more features to it, like you have a activity desk in a social space. And finally, like in 2015 winter, that's where the Infor Mingle came into picture, which actually I'll say like all the while I was looking at the Bex and I was thinking this is wow. When I see Mingle, it's more of like uh, it gives a total different visualization for the user, wherein he can see and he can think more deep based on the widgets that's across. Like he can chat, he can talk, he can plan, he gets his own notifications, he has his own dems, he has his own everything there. Now in 2016, like again new services got added. They added more flavor, like the mobile, they added the BI part of it. Then they added the document management, which actually has been like desperate across multiple applications. They made it a single repository. You have a business vault, which actually accelerates reporting and analytics by moving the critical background functions onto a separate dedicated resource. You have home pages and everything. So in a way, if you just look at it as a singular platform, Infor talks about the information, collaboration, and integration. So this particular XI, I'll say like if we can leverage on this one, I'll say like it's a wonderful thing. The only thing is, as I said during my the whole course, as I said, like it all starts. It has to be driven from business. Then comes the technology. Now the thing is like you need to understand what exactly is business is needing, rather than building a competency on a platform will not fetch you long. So as such, understand the pain areas, understand what exactly business needs, how exactly we can leverage the features that are being provided on the XI platform, the BI, the IDM, the API thing, and the ION. We can always go further, because say for example, like I'll give you a nice example wherein recently we closed one of the projects wherein customer needed the mobility on the Infor EAM, right? and then they had the finance on Infor Sun Systems. So there was a Infor EAM, there was a Infor Sun Systems, and he wanted mobility. And so like Infor Xi was a boon for me because that's where we built the whole framework. We integrated the stuff that the data is coming over onto the mobile app. It's working offline. It's syncing whenever it goes online, and the customer is very happy. So in a way, it's not about the platform. It's not about the platform. It's about the business requirement. I'll say you if you want to utilize the potential of Infor Xi as a platform, you need to have a good strategy in place to start with, and there should be a good thought process and a dedicated team. When these three pieces are connected, I'll say that's where you will find the value in it. So in a way, like as I said, people, application, and information, they all have to come together. So in a so when you're interacting, so connecting, so you need to connect the people so that as I say, like a smart workforce is enabled. You need to connect your teams. You need to connect the co-workers uh, through a workplace where they can chat and it's secure. And then you need to connect your applications. It has to be a very again the same XML events, the XI, the API gateways have to be there. Same simultaneously, you should be able to monitor how exactly the data is being transformed between the applications. There needs to be a logging. There needs to be admin tools. The connectivity could be like hybrid, if at all it is. The visibility has to be addressed at a core, wherein you should be able to access the application even when you're not inside the intranet. Then the documentation, then the home pages, they have to be organized in a way that they address the specific business function. So it has to be contextualized. Simultaneously, analytics, I'll say like analytics play a vital role because as I quoted the example, we actually from the analytics, you can deep dive into the data and you can identify the root cause, which could be anywhere in the value chain. From beginning of the raw material, from the values being added, like it could be from the ecosystem of your partners. It could be the production that is happening, the shipping, then the after sale, then the sales, then the after sale service. Then it could be like the warranty. The root cause can be anywhere. So as such, the analytics are equally are very important. And then you can when you say analytics, it has to be very fast. You cannot the way the traditional ERP used to work. Like I remember, like my customers used to like all the long running jobs. They used to schedule in the late nights, and next day morning they used to come and get the logs or the reports. So now with this XI platform, you have the in-memory multi-dimensional cubes where things are happening real faster. That now Office integrations, you have to embed it, which is embedded everywhere. So in a way, I'll say like this is how we look at the XI platform. This is our understanding. This is how we think. We believe. This is how the acceptance towards the business has to happen. And this is how we believe that the next level we can take it. Simultaneously, what I say is the business has to be intelligence, and they have to bring that intelligence into the platform rather than taking the intelligence from the platform to the business. So that's where we stand. And I would like to say, like in the coming weeks, we'll be conducting more. This is one of the first sessions where we introduce a platform, a digital platform, and then we talked about the Excite. In the coming weeks, we'll be talking more about how exactly all the business functions across the organizations can be connected through XI, which will be more technical. Simultaneously, we'll be touch basing the features and the different technical aspects of the XI, including the how exactly you can build the bots and how you can build the new workflows, APIs, and how exactly it works, how to enable the mobility part of it. We'll surely showcase all that in the coming weeks. And That's where we are. So thanks again, like for participating with us. If you have any questions, I'll be delighted to answer now. So you have my email ID, wherein you can post your queries. We can always work together. We can strike a dialogue wherein our experiences and your challenges, maybe we can work it out. Uh, uh, because this is for this particular engagement was more from the exercise standpoint. We have capable. We have evolved.
Thank you, Kartik sir, for the beautiful presentation. If you have any questions, you can revert us back to the email. Or any doubts, you can in the chat. If not, we have a email ID here, so you can drop your doubts, anything, and Kartik is going to revert back to you. Thank you so much.